Have you ever dreamed of quitting your 9 to 5, packing up your laptop and working from anywhere in the world? Becoming a digital nomad sounds like the ultimate freedom. But the big question is, how much money do you really need to make that happen? In this video, I'll break down the exact costs of becoming a digital nomad, how much money you should save before taking the leap, and ways to keep your expenses low while living abroad. And stick around to the end because I'll share a secret hack that can help you live as a digital nomad for way less than you think. And if you want to support this channel, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and support me on Patreon in the link below. So before we dive into numbers, let's talk about what you actually need to survive being a digital nomad today. So unlike a vacation or just traveling, you actually need to balance work and travel as a digital nomad. So that means you need a reliable Wi-Fi and workspace, so no internet, no income. Affordable accommodation, so hotels, they add up fast. So you need an affordable accommodation. So nomads often rent flats or stay in co-living spaces. Food and daily expenses you need to plan for because eating out every day is going to really eat into your money. Flight and transportation is also a big one. So if you're moving around a lot, you need a travel budget. And finally, you do need some emergency savings because life happens and you don't want to get stuck. Now let's break down how much you need based on different lifestyles. So number one, accommodation. So this could be anywhere from £300/dollars to £1,500/dollars a month. But where you stay makes the biggest difference. So here's a rough guide. So the budget option would be a shared living space or hostel. With this is like $300, $600 a month. Then you've got your mid-range, which is like your private Airbnbs or local flats. And this is more getting into the range of sort of $700 to $1,200 a month. Again, this varies by country and where you're at. And then we have luxury. So this is a Western style apartment in like a major city. And this could be $1,500 plus. But in terms of a tip for you guys, Southeast Asia and Latin America have some of the cheapest accommodation for digital nomads. Number two, food and lifestyle. So if you cook at home and eat like a local, you can have $200 to $400 a month. That's actually plenty. But if you're eating at cafes and restaurants daily, expect to spend sort of $600 upwards a month. But if you shop at local supermarkets and use apps like Too Good To Go, you can save a lot of money on food. But realistically, your best option here is going to be just cooking for yourself because you're going to save so much money that way compared to if you're eating out all the time. And once you're really raking it in, then you can, be out of restaurants all the time if you like. Number three, flights and transport. So flights are your biggest travel cost, but if you plan wisely, you can stay in each location 1 to 3 months or longer to avoid them flight costs for traveling to other areas. If you use tools like Google Flights, Skyscanner, and AirAsia Pass, you can get cheaper tickets this way. Also, take public transport over taxis because that's going to be a lot more savings there. So this doesn't actually have to wind up being that expensive as long as you're careful with your money and your planning. So number four, work essentials. So most nomads need co-working spaces or cafes for reliable Wi-Fi. However, you've got some options here because if you work from your own accommodation and you've got Wi-Fi there, then you can save money completely on that. If you do want to go to a co-working space, then you're probably looking at sort of 50 to 150 a month of spending on this. Of course, this varies by country. And number five, travel insurance and emergency fund. So you need travel insurance, period, because otherwise a small accident can cost you thousands, so it's well worth getting travel insurance. So take a look at some budget options for this. So Safety Wing, World Nomads, or Alliance Travel. But what's the minimum you need to do this? Say you want to become a digital nomad tomorrow. How much money do you need? What's the breakdown of that? So you might want to work this out whether you're using pounds or dollars or whatever currency you're working with. But I'm going to basically talk about the options here in pounds. So for a low budget digital nomad, you're probably looking at £700 to £1,200 a month, which is actually a lot cheaper than living in major cities like London. So if you look at places like Southeast Asia or Latin America, and if you also look at hostels, street foods, cooking for yourself, maybe look for free co-working spaces as well because they're out there. This is probably the cheapest you can do it, and just remember to have that emergency fund just in case. Then you've got mid-range nomad. So this is like Europe, Mexico, Bali. As Bali is becoming a bit more expensive these days, it used to be that sort of cheaper option. It's changing a bit. So for places like this, you're probably now looking at around $1,500 to $2,500 a month. And this is also taking into account that you're using, Airbnbs or cafes or paid for co-working spaces. And then you've got the high-end nomads. So this is when you've got a job that's really earning you quite a bit of money, so you can sort of afford to go full luxury on this. But this would be, going to other places in the UK or the US or Australia, right? And we're talking, full apartments, dining out, premium co-working spaces. This is going to be upwards of £3,000 a month. But just a golden rule here for all of these tiers, save at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses before starting, just in case. And then it's going to be annoying when you want to, start traveling tomorrow, but you do really want to have this. If you are worried about money, here's how to sustain the digital nomad lifestyle. So with a lot of you watching this, you might already have an idea in mind of what you could work as when you are a digital nomad. Maybe you're doing freelancing jobs or running your own business, but here are some other options as well. So as I mentioned, if you are a freelancer, you can use sites like Upwork, Fiverr, People Per Hour. You can look at some remote job boards. So this is like We Work Remotely. And of course, if you're running your own business, then you probably want to find ways to run that remotely. So this could be blogging, digital products, YouTube, affiliate marketing, coaching, or really any business you have, as long as you're not meeting people face to face or going into an office, and you have the freedom there to effectively work from anywhere. But if you can, try and live below your means and save smartly. So travel slowly to save on flights, and then use budgeting apps to track expenses. They can be really helpful. I'll be bringing out a budgeting guide in my Patreon as well, so the link will be below in the description if you want to look at that. But the key is to have consistent income and smart money management. So is the digital nomad life possible? Absolutely. But you just need to plan your budget, pick affordable destinations, and have an income stream before leaving. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button below and subscribe for more content.